Reggae. What is it? It is a music genre with its origin stemming from Jamaica near the end of the 1960s. First mention of the word reggae was introduced in the 1968 single by Toots and the Maytals, Do the Reggae. This song basically gave the name to the genre and further introduced it to a wider and more global listener base. The term itself can mean simply a variety of pop Jamaican dance soundtracks. However, more clearly, the term reggae is symbolic of a specific musical style with heavy influence of traditional mento, American jazz, and rhythm and blues, and was birthed from the early genres ska and rocksteady. Now let's talk about the state of reggae and my experience. Typically, it is unusual to hear of people nowadays, particularly youth, discussing the reggae genre, or at least in my experience this is the case. You see, for the entirety of my childhood, I had been exposed to reggae. This included artists such as UB40, Damian Marley, Bob Marley, and Dennis Brown. As I grew older, however, I came to realize just how lucky I had been to experience the listening of such a beautiful genre. I noticed that a majority of the friends that I had, and to be honest still have, just don't care about reggae or just plain don't even know what it is. They don't even know it exists. Now while I understand we all have our own genre preferences, and not everyone will like everything, it still did make me sad to know that so many people missed out on the Rastaman, ya get me? That's why I'm here. I decided to try and unpack why it is that reggae is so damn underrated. Here's some reasons why. First off, the rise of hip-hop. Some people believe that the rise of hip-hop was the death of reggae, as there just hasn't been any significant anomalies like the King Bob Marley himself to light a fire under the genre once again, the genre of reggae that is. This is quite interesting, and I never quite thought about it from this standpoint, but it does just make sense. Some genres are born and just don't stick around because they become less unique, and as time passes, perhaps not enough outliers are there to seek bringing the genre back to life. Other people plain state that the genre is just too simplistic and lacks complexity and uniqueness, a genre that's simply designed for high-heads who are flirting with the use of marijuana, while sober listeners may grow impatient and bored of the repetitive and overused percussions and rhythms. I can certainly agree to an extent with this sort of perspective, as I typically don't listen to reggae for longer than 30 minutes to an hour before switching to another genre, for the sheer fact that most of the songs do feel similar and almost like I'm just listening to one long track, to be honest. And finally, it can be argued that reggae simply just isn't underrated at all. Rather, location should be considered when discussing the genre. For instance, you may hear it less in Asian countries or places such as Australia, whereas in places such as Hawaii and Florida, it may be more accepted and played. And to wrap this video up, I feel personally that reggae is an amazing genre that clearly, to me at least, is not as popular as I'd hope it to be. The argument that the rhythms and percussions of the genre are too simplistic and that it is the cause of its downfall is iffy to say the least, because as I mentioned in my lo-fi video, the repetitive type beat can become almost hypnotizing and mind-numbing, leading to prolonged listening. However, perhaps the lack of a modern touch in the genre as opposed to others is its downfall. Either way, I'd highly recommend any of you who have not listened to the genre to please give it a go. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Thanks for watching.